You're listening to Independent TV 7. Kindly click on the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Independent TV 7. Also, don't forget to click the bell icon to get more notification. Thanks for watching. Breaking news. According to the report that is getting to us now, it says the Biafran Guard commander has been killed, and there is a warning saying the killing of the Biafran Guard commander should be a warning to hoodlums causing chaos in the east. Wow. Hope these people are not trying to change the narrative. But I would like us to listen, and let's listen vividly so that we can pick some points out of this. A report reaching us from Sahara Reporters has confirmed the killing of the Biafran National Guard commander by the Nigerian Army. The commander by the Nigerian Army was killed after gunmen attacked the troops' location in Abia State. I recall that gunmen suspected to be members of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, have been causing mayhem in the southeastern region of the country. Well, I really understand this. They said it has been recalled that gunmen suspected to be members of the indigenous people. They are still suspects. So if you are telling us they are suspect, then why the Nigerian government prescribing such group as a terrorist group? You see how this so-called gullible government do not know what it entails to govern a country. Have they really governed their own community, or let alone their immediate family? The commander was killed after gunmen attacked the troops location in Abia State. I recall that gunmen suspected to be members of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, have been causing mayhem in the southeastern region of the country. Several people have lost their loved ones and properties due to their activities. Well, I dispute the fact that it is the indigenous people of Biafra that are causing mayhem and killing innocent people in the southeast. Well, I could remember there was a time I traveled to the eastern part of the country, so very, very peaceful, and I noticed something, that those that were rampaging and causing this mayhem, they are not the indigenous of these states. I believe maybe they are machinery or mercenary rather, being invited and also recruited into the society to start disturbing the peace of the people. And meanwhile, after their operation, they put on the IPOB imprint, the cloth they put it on. So whenever you see them, you say, it is the IPOB. They dress like the IPOB. Wallahi, I would say he's one of those that were caught. That was caught. He's a Fulani, a typical Fulani man. They caught him with AK-47, pretending to be OC Nashi. That's the name he was given. To bear that name, so that they will change the narratives. Then Abba Kyari was not arrested then. So those are the things. Those were the things Abba Kyari went to the east to do. Take unaware the so-called fraudsters that they call Yahoo Boy. They go to Imo. Doing all sorts of things. The Abia, the southeast in general, Abba Kyari really disturb the peace of the state, not even just because he's a corpse. I would say he disturbed the peace of the state through what I would call repatriation, or rather I would call it corruption, because he didn't just go. Abba Kyari didn't just go to the east to go and serve his fatherland, by catching the corporates, but rather he will catch the Yahoo boys to himself. And they, the indigenous people of Biafra, have really amped up every goddamn behavior that they think would implicate them. But since mercenary are being deployed, and I believe those that were repented from Boko Haram are also being integrated into the army and into the military force. And I believe, why won't this so-called chaos or mayhem happen in the southeast? So the so-called elites have really changed the narratives. They are trying to be politically correct. They don't want any Igbo presidency, and that's the reason why they are neglecting the southeastern part of the country and trying to arrest Nnamdi Kanu, saying Nnamdi Kanu is the problem of the country. How can that be? Nnamdi Kanu has every right to agitate for secession, or he has every right to agitate and ask for good governance, and also he needs to ask for equity and justice. So in other words, when such is not forthcoming,
So what will happen is the Yoruba nation and Biafra, emerges and says they want to have their own separate nations. Below are photos from the clash between the gunmen and soldiers. Yes, according to the report, they said the soldiers were the ones, engaging battle or gunshot with so-called all the suspected indigenous people of Biafra that they claim. The recent killings of the Biafran commander should serve as a warning to hoodlums causing chaos in the southeastern region. It should be noted that the military is a force to reckon with in Africa and can tackle enemies also both from within and outside the country. They are better trained than the miscreants, causing a breach of peace in the region and are therefore more likely to defeat them in a gun duel. Well, I know that the Nigerian military, they are, number one in Africa. Like my friend would say, number one champion. Yes, that was in the Obasanjo era. Nigeria in the olden days, they used to recommend our gallant soldiers. But as it is, I believe these people that have really, caused havoc in our military system. Well, it's only God that will judge them. Now they are telling us Biafra National Guard, a BNG has been killed. Well, I wouldn't want to buttress more and talk more about this, but because I know, does Biafra has a National Guard? That's the question. Biafra, I believe, does not have a National Guard, and if they do, I would say, or if this is what they say it is, and what I'm saying here, that a Biafra National Guard, if they really do have, I would say definitely they are trying to change the narratives. That's just the English. Yes, furthermore, this should be a warning to the unscrupulous element planning to disrupt the forthcoming Anambra State gubernatorial election. You can see this is the only thing APC knows about all this so-called federal government knows how to do best. Election, to occupying positions and trying to extort Nigerians, borrowing and sharing. And that's just a divide and rule. Election. Now, in the northern part of the country, what have you done as a government? As the chief of army staff. I'm talking to Buhari. What have you done really? Okay, let's even forget about Buhari. Buhari, according to reports, his medical report says Buhari is incoherent. And also has amnesia or whichever dementia, or I don't know. Those are the English words that have been used, for our so-called Buhari. And now, see what is really happening. So Malami is also a suspect. If anything should happen on November 6th, if any negative thing should happen, now that they are trying to change the narrative to tell the whole world that it is the indigenous people of Biafra that are terrorizing the southeastern part, and that's why the so-called Biafra nation, or the people in the eastern part of the country, now decided to observe sit at home every Monday, just to clear the air that they don't go out and they are back in their confined zone. They are not ready until Nnamdi Kanu is being released before they can stop that sit at home. Well, furthermore, as I said, there shouldn't be any scrupulous element, and it should be noted that the Nigerian military recently purchased 60 armored vehicles to combat insecurity and might use it on any group or individual that threatens the peace of the country. Well, you should rush and go and use it against this so-called Boko Haram and every other person. So you are still waiting. Buhari, you have failed woefully.